since I graduated and presently. Presently, I work at Akron General. I work on a unit called TCU, which stands for Transitional Care, which is not true. We used to be a step-down unit, so we've received a lot of critical patients. We move patients to and from the ICU almost daily sometimes. We are also, in layman's terms, we're the dump. When the ER is unsure of where to send a patient, they will literally call the floor to see if we have any discharges. We're a small unit, we have 13 beds, and if we have something opening up, they will send it to us. So on a given day, I have a dialysis patient, I have a respiratory, sometimes trach patient, I have a cardiac patient, and unless that cardiac patient is critical and in need of a drip, I get to take care of them. Pros, I get to use a lot of my skills because you were looking at a lot of different patients, and patients can go bad very quickly on you and for different reasons. Cons, it would be nice to have the same type of patients all the time. However, as a new nurse, it really helps me to gain confidence and to see things that I probably wouldn't see on another floor. So when I am floated to other floors, and you will be floated a lot, you'll be ready. And there's a reason why people tell you that Walsh is the school you want to be at. It's true. There are things that you are going to learn in the first couple of weeks in your sophomore and junior years that will come back 2 or 3 years into nursing, and you will see students from other schools that are not as prepared. So I know it's very hard. I know that you're very stressed, and you can't wait to just get through, but I promise you it is worth it, and you will be just fine. Most of you are going to end up on nights because that's the way it goes, and I was very thankful for the nights that I was there with my other Walsh peeps because we were prepared and we were ready and we weren't scared of anything.
Hi, my name's Teddy Osborne. I'm a nurse from Walsh University, and I graduated Walsh in 2015 with my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, Bachelor's of Arts in Spanish for Healthcare, and minors in Biology and History. In September of 2015, I was hired at The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio, and I've worked there for the past 4 years as a medical surgical nurse. I work on 11 East Stone. It's primarily a medical floor, so we work with liver patients, heart failure patients, respiratory complications. We do some wound care, some mental health, some psych, just really a wide variety. We get a couple surgeries, but primarily it's medical. And in addition to working there, in April of 2018, I joined the Air Force Reserves as a second lieutenant, and I went to school to be a flight nurse. And I went to a variety of different schools, took lots of classes, and just this past June 2019, I graduated and am now fully qualified to take care of patients on military aircraft. So what that kind of entails is I'm still a full-time nurse at OSU, and then about 60, 70 days a year, I work as a flight nurse for the Air Force. Just being that I'm in the reserves, we primarily just do training missions, making sure our skills are up to date. We run different exercises, different scenarios, just in case, we need to deploy. But on the operational side, our main job is to take people from a small hospital to a big hospital, or from a big hospital back home to the United States. And we transport patients all over the world, different aircrafts, large planes, small helicopters, you name it. And on the aircraft, it's just 2 nurses and 3 technicians. So the nurses are kind of the ones running the show. So that's kind of different. It's a different challenge for sure. I just got started, like I said, back in June, but so far I really like it. And it's a good complement to my civilian job.
Hi, my name's Kelsey Schaefer. I graduated from Walsh with my BSN in 2014. The first 2 years that I worked as a nurse, I worked at Altman Hospital in Canton on the Med-Surg Oncology unit, and for the past 3 years I've worked at Life Care Hospice in Worcester, and I work in their inpatient unit, and we provide hospital level of care to hospice patients.
Hi guys, my name is Brittany Bueller. I graduated from Walsh in 2016, obviously with nursing. And after college I started working at Akron General 4200. That is a kind of step-down cardiac unit, and we would get post-cabbages, chest tubes, a lot of heart failure obviously, and overflow. So I worked there for about 2 years, and then I decided to pursue my career in pediatrics, and I've been at Akron Children's Transitional Care Unit for about a year now. There we get all ages, all diagnoses. We get trach vents, neurosurgery patients, epilepsy unit, and rehab. And both jobs have done wonders for my nursing career. I was very happy with both.
Hi everyone, my name is Audrey. I graduated from Walsh in 2014, and this is my 5th year as a nurse now. I work at Akron Children's Hospital. I'm in the float department, and that has been my only nursing gig since I graduated, and I love it. I first applied for that job because I didn't know what area I wanted to work in, and now 5 years later, I thought I would have picked a floor by now, but I haven't because I decided I like going everywhere and experiencing different things every single day, different age groups, different just settings that I'm working in. I can go to the burn center, the PICU, the NICU, the psych floor, oncology floor, the rehab floor, 3 medical floors, medical surgical floors, and I can float to 3 hospitals that are owned by Akron Children. So I've experienced a lot, to say the least, in my 5 years as a nurse, and I really hope that you guys find your little niche, what you want to do. Nursing is a great career, and I'm so excited for you guys to start your journey at Walsh. I had a great time and stressful time. Just ask Professor Price. Just kidding, it's fun. I made some of my best friends that I'm still friends with to this day in nursing school, and I learned a lot. Walsh really prepares you for your future, and a lot of hospitals love working with Walsh grads. So you're off to a great start. Good
Hi,
luck.
Walsh University, class of 2023. My name is Lacey Leona Russell, and I'm class of 2015 with my BSN. As a new grad, I actually started at Wheeling Hospital in their intensive care unit, and I now currently work at Ruby Memorial Hospital in Morgantown, West Virginia. We're a 28-bed unit, and we are one of 4 adult ICUs and one of the only level 1 trauma centers in the state. So we see patients from all over the state, and it's a teaching facility. So I have learned so much in my career. It has been amazing.
For you C students to sit in the back, you're going to be fine. For you A students to sit in the front, you're going to be fine. It's stressful. It's supposed to be stressful. I know there's times that you want to just be angry and curse about the test being too hard, or this professor's being too hard on you, or this is unfair, that's unfair. Maybe it is, but there's a very, very good reason for all of it. Because one day, the answer isn't going to come out of a book. And it's not going to be a question that you got wrong on a test. If you make a mistake in the real world, people can die. And I know we say that, but it's true. You have to be sure. You have to be right. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to make the right choice. And you're going to. That's why the tests are hard. That's why preparing for the NCLEX makes you want to pull your hair out. That's why there's that one professor that you just think that it's just so unfair. She's not, or he's not. That's why when other students from the other universities say, oh, we don't have to do that, or that's crazy, or wow, that's way harder than it has to be. It's for a reason, and you're going to be very thankful that it was.
When I joined, I wanted to do it all. I wanted to get perfect grades, go to parties, make tons of friends, go to all the events, join all the clubs. If it was, people would pass out flyers, and I'd be like, all right, let's do it. And you get burnt out pretty quickly, and you realize you can't do it all. And you'll have people tell you like, oh, try new things, do new things, and that's good advice, But just remember that it's okay to say no to things, and you'll settle into a rhythm and a routine soon enough, and it won't be as overwhelming for you. But just finding that balance is tough, and it'll take you some time. But know that it's okay to say no. And also, don't drink and drive, and don't let your friends drink and drive. It's not worth it at all. God forbid you hurt yourself or you hurt someone else. But least case scenario, a DUI can really mess up your career. Nursing is really stressful. Relax, have fun, drink if you're of age, but have a plan. Servo driver, Uber, call a family or friend, whatever it takes. Even if you're underage, you might want to risk it and say, oh, I'm not going to call someone because then they'll know I'm underage drinking. Trust me, it's just better to call someone than to drive drunk.
To seek out help early. So if you aren't understanding the material or you didn't do well on your first test, seek out your professors, go to their office hours, ask questions, and also get a tutor. These are things that I did not do and should have. I did not do well my freshman year. And it did not make me a bad nurse. I had to retake a couple classes, and if I would have just sought out help, I would have been fine, but I was too embarrassed to. So don't be an advocate for yourself and your education, and it's okay to ask for help. So that's what I would tell myself.
Semester in college, I would say to bust my butt. I unfortunately did not do that when I went to school. I thought college was this big playground, had a lot of fun. I actually started off playing softball, and I didn't get the grades to get into the program. So then that took me to the 5-year program, which, I didn't mind at the time. I love college. It was fun. I never wanted to leave, but I'm paying for it now in student loans. So I would suggest to hit the ground running, start off strong. That saying, work hard, play hard, it's true. You can play later. This is your future you're talking about, and your money, obviously. But I would definitely work my butt off if I could go back, save that money.
It would definitely be my studying habits, because I chose probably for the first few weeks to keep the same studying habits which I had in high school, and that was nothing. So I literally would study like 30 minutes before a test, and I would expect to do well on it because that had worked for me in like 8th grade through senior year. So I don't know why I thought, oh, nursing school is not going to be any different. So that was a lie to myself. Took my first anatomy and physiology test, and I nearly failed it. And that was a very quick wake-up call that I need to buckle down and pick a good studying method it's going to help me learn, it's going to help me retain information that's not stupid, aka studying right before the test. So once you find what works for you, stick with it, because it's a tough program, but if you find what works for you, you will succeed. And also, I would make sure I balance my social life and my school life, because sometimes, it's your freshman year of college, you want to go out and do everything and not study, and you might get caught up in the college life, party life, but know that you are a student first. Definitely have fun. Don't not go have fun, but find that good balance, because in the end, you could be really stressed out because you didn't spend enough time on your schoolwork.
I would honestly say really evaluate how you learned best. I had no idea how I learned, and it was definitely a trial and error basis. I can't really read and retain things. That's just not how my brain is wired. I'm very auditory. I like to listen to lectures, and I actually recorded a lot of my lectures and rewrote all my notes. So that's how I remembered things, and I began to retain way more information, especially junior year. I really wish that I would have known that way sooner. And another piece of advice that I would give myself would be to not be afraid to ask for help. Nursing school is quite stressful. Nursing in general, even whenever we begin our careers, it's extremely stressful. It's very overwhelming. And especially if you work in an environment like I do, you see a lot of death. And it's very important to take care of your own mental health through college and through your career, because sometimes this job can weigh on you. So don't be afraid to seek a counselor, for somebody to talk to about anything that you've seen in clinicals, maybe a professor. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It takes a very strong person to ask for help when you need it.
most fulfilling and rewarding? Saving a life. There is nothing that can describe the feeling that you will have when you look into the eyes of a person and you see them going bad and you make that call and you get the team down there and you start doing everything you can. And sometimes there'll be family at the bedside, sometimes there'll be friends. You're going to ask them to step in the hallway and you're going to act in the moment, and it is going to be a high that you can't describe. There's just no words to put into the rush you get when you know you've done everything. And we don't always win, but we always fight. And when you do absolutely everything you can to save a life or to get a person over to ICU so that they can take over and do what's best for that patient, you can't describe it. To me, that's what I find most fulfilling. I also find it fulfilling to just build a good rapport with a patient. There are going to be patients on the unit that you get back over and over again. The frequent flyers are true. You're going to see a name and you're just like, oh man, so-and-so is here. But when you know that you can make that connection with that patient and you can do what's right for that patient, there's nothing like it.
I want to say that nursing is probably one of the best career fields you can get into right now. The amount of flexibility is phenomenal, career opportunities, advancements, and the financial benefits and packages that come from being a nurse. Just can't say enough good things about those. You'll never have to look long for a nursing job. There's lots of different options. You can work from pretty much anywhere in the world. And again, the pay and benefits, very, very comfortable living. Furthermore, there's something in nursing for everyone. You can be a bedside nurse in tons of different specialties. You can teach. You can work for an insurance company, work for the military. Lots of options. And what you might start with isn't always, you don't have to stick with it. You can work for a hospital as an ER nurse, work there for a couple years, but maybe your life changes and you have kids and a family and, you want to work in a clinic, something more stable, something 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, holidays off. You have that option. And I really like that. Right now, I like being a medical surgical nurse, but I wanted a challenge, so I joined the military, did flight nursing. Eventually, I'm thinking I want to go back to grad school, kind of do some different things with that. But, I'm not pigeonholed like you are with some different degrees and career fields. In terms of the most rewarding thing, though, it's taking care of your patients and it's seeing the fruits of your labor. You'll hear this tons of times, and it's a bit of a cliche, but it's true that nurses come into patients' lives at the worst possible time, even if it's something minor, like a broken arm, or something severe like a cancer or, more chronic diagnosis. People don't plan to come to the hospital. They don't want to be there. No one enjoys that. And you have the opportunity to improve that patient's situation. You'll take tons of tests and papers and projects, and there'll be some low points, there'll be lots of times of self-doubt and tears and, I hate this, I don't want to do this, I want to go be a business major, I said that a lot of times. I always say I loved college, but I hated nursing school. But it's worth it because, you make a difference in those patients' lives. I mean, the doctors are always there, if I have quick phone call or anything, but for the most part, they spend about 5 to 10 minutes a day with the patients. And it's the nurse there making sure that the treatment plan's implemented and followed and that the patients are getting better. And I work day shifts, so I get to see patients, primarily when they're awake. And I work a couple different roles in the hospital, but I mainly do bedside nursing. And so I'll work several days in a row and I can see patients, sometimes even, from admission to discharge. And you can see them get better. You can see the difference that you make. And I personally, I find that really rewarding. And that's honestly one of the best decisions I've ever made was going to nursing school at Walsh, getting my degree. And it's let me have a pretty good life so far. So best of luck out there, and welcome to Walsh.
Okay, so I could go on and on and on about what is so rewarding about my job as a hospice nurse, but I will try to keep it short. There's just nothing better than knowing that because of you, you got to help someone pass away peacefully. And you made sure that in someone's final days or hours that they did not suffer. Hospice nursing is very unique. I've seen people die in the hospice setting many times, and I've seen many people die in the hospital setting too when I worked in the hospital, and it's a very different approach. Hospice is just so unique. It's so patient-centered and family-centered, and we just get to meet a lot of really unique people with really unique stories that have been through a lot usually, and there's nothing more rewarding than knowing that you got to make their final days comfortable.
I do believe that nursing is a very fulfilling, rewarding career, but unfortunately you don't feel that all the time. During the day, night, you're busting your butt and you're making sure that your patients get everything they need. Absolutely everything. Sometimes you don't eat, sometimes you don't have time to pee, and that's what happens. And then you feel so defeated sometimes, and then by the end of the shift, when you're saying goodbye to your patients, and most of the time they will thank you and they will tell you what a great nurse you are, how much time you spent with them, even if it's nothing medical related. You did something for them. You walked in the room, you gave them a smile, you told them a joke if it's appropriate. Appropriate timing, not an appropriate joke. I'm not good at this blogging stuff. But you take the time out of your day to get to know someone. This is where the whole holistic stuff that you hear about comes in. You're gonna get so sick of that word, but it's true. You get to know someone and you will change their life. They will remember you forever. For example, at Akron Children's, I had this 13-year-old who was in the hospital for a while, and she was very depressed. What happened to her, what's going on at home. I decided to, this probably isn't a good example, but make her laugh, and the way I did that was riding on an IV pole while I played wrecking ball. But that's the first time I saw her smile, and ever since then, she was able to open up to me, tell her what was wrong. We were able to get her the help she needed to go home and, live life to the fullest. And just the fact that I helped do that I actually changed a life. You changed many lives, but it's just an example. It was the most fulfilling feeling in the whole world. I wouldn't change a thing. I did get in trouble for riding on the IV pole. Don't do that. Just do something else to make someone laugh. But yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
And I actually just got back from work, and today was kind of a tough day in the sense that there wasn't really a good quality of life outcome for the baby that I had in the NICU. So that was pretty tough. First-time parents, and you have to be there to be, not only care for the child, but also, that's not a word. Also, you're there, for emotional support for the family, for the parents, for the patient. So that was really tough, but at the end of the day, it is kind of nice to know that, you were there, although you didn't cure the child or provide a better quality of life for them, but you were able to, make the family feel comfortable. You were offering yourself, you were just being present in the moment and being that source of, hey, I'm here to listen to you, I'm here to help and support you. And that's not always easy. In fact, it can be kind of awkward. But some families, it could mean the world to them. You might think, I'm just standing in here listening to them talk, just nodding in agreement, but to that person, it could, mean everything that you were you were there and you were listening to them in their time of need and just being that extra body in the room when they just really needed someone to talk to. But on the other hand, when I don't have sad days, and I will float to like a general care floor with kids, some kids, will put their call light on and be like, can someone come play with me? And you go in and they have a Wii controller and they're ready for you to do Wii bowling with them. So that can be really fun. They put a smile on my face, and that's really awesome. A lot of kids love stickers. I've got stickers all over my badges. I left my badge in the car, so sorry about that. But there's a ton of stickers that you get. And it's just really rewarding being able to use your skills as a nurse, as well as just general people skills and socialize, and you have fun at your job. At least in the peds world, I'm not sure.
There are so many things actually in my career that I find fulfilling. But one of the most fulfilling things that I can do for my patient is to make them feel human, to fix their hair, to get them washed up, to make them feel somewhat like themselves again. Just recently, actually, a couple of days ago, I had a patient come in and her hair was pretty matted. And she joked with me and she told me to tell her husband to bring a pair of scissors for her hair. And I'm like, oh no, girl, we are not cutting your hair. That's the one thing that I will not do. And I have a bottle of detangler in my locker with some hair ties and everything that I use for this purpose. And I told her, I said, if your husband brings you a brush, I will get your tangles out and I'll braid your hair for you. And when I did, she was just so appreciative. And that's like one of the main things that makes me feel so good is the fact that I can go the extra mile and I have the time to get to know my patients and their families a little bit better just by doing their hair and to talk with them. And I can't, like, words can't describe how special it can make somebody feel that their nurse took the time out to help them with the little things. And it's a great honor to be able to do that. So don't get caught up in all this saving lives kind of stuff, because it's not always about saving lives. Our profession is incredible. We do save lives, but sometimes it's the little things that can make somebody feel whole again.